Michaela Vernava for NESN.com, joined by Bills NFL writer for Buffalo News and also Sirius XM NFL radio host Vic Carucci. Vic, thanks so much for talking with us today.
My pleasure. Great to be with you.
Now, I know you've been all over the rumblings of the Patriots making an offer to Chris Hogan. Is this one that he simply can't resist? I'm hearing that it might be tough for the Bills to match this offer. What news are you hearing?
Yeah, that's exactly what I've been hearing right along, that, first of all, the Patriots have been targeting him for a while. You know, this isn't something they just kind of came out of nowhere to do. My understanding has been that he's been on their radar. They see him as a really good fit for what they do offensively. And looking at it from my end, I see probably a much better fit for Chris Hogan in that New England offense than the one he's been in Buffalo. The Bills, sure, throw the football, but they tend to like, and especially with Rex Ryan as head coach, like those speedy downfield threats. That's not Chris Hogan. He's much more of the precise, short intermediate route runner, that guy who works well from the slot and very much fits into what the Patriots do well, that sort of dink and dunk passing game that no one, I think, works better than Tom Brady. And the routes that are designed in that scheme just have worked so well for people like Julian Edelman and Danny Amendola. We know the list and go back to Wes Welker. Now, their talent matters, and you got to bring that to the table, and Chris has that. I would not call him Julian Edelman or Danny Amendola by a long shot in terms of separation skills, but from the route running standpoint, he's a little bit bigger than they are, the strength that he also has, reliability, dependability, all of that fits there, and so the Patriots know to get that player under these circumstances, you have to put together an offer that would discourage the Bills from matching it because they have the 5 days to do so once this becomes an official offer sheet. And the way to do that is to load it, put a lot of upfront money in it that would be onerous on the Bills' salary cap.
So you think that it wouldn't be worth the Bills for the hoops they'd have to jump through to try to keep him, given what we're hearing the Patriots are offering?
I think the Bills value what Chris Hogan can bring to the table, even though it doesn't fit perfectly into their offense. His reliability, his dependability, a good guy in the locker room. I mean, just a solid person matters to this football team. However, I think when you're as tight to the cap as they've been, all they've been able to do so far in free agency is put a franchise tag on Cordy Glenn, and that was $13.7 million guaranteed for 1 year to make sure they don't lose a starting left tackle. And then they signed Richie Incognito, who had a career year, even though he's approaching 33, to a contract that allows them to keep their left side of their line intact. But after that, they've really not been able to do much else. They only tendered offers to 3 of 6 restricted free agents. Chris Hogan was one of them. And that's at the minimum tender. So by all indications, the Patriots are going above that. They know what they have to do to try to make this difficult for Buffalo to match. My sense would be that Buffalo would not match something that, by all accounts, would be maybe several times, possibly 3 or more times what the Bills were tendering Chris Hogan. But I think for the sake of the Patriots, this would be a very, very good fit.
Especially given that they recently released big-bodied Brandon LaFell. So to have Chris Hogan with his size, his stature come in, and for all the reasons you were saying earlier, certainly would be a great addition to the Patriots offense.
Yeah, and Michaela, he's such a natural. This is one of those athletes. I mean, the guy played lacrosse, which we know goes right to the heart of Bill Belichick, right? I mean, something near and dear to him. The guy, you put a golf club in his hand, he's going to play scratch golf. You put a ping pong paddle in his hand, he's going to blow away everybody as he did in the locker room. I mean, he just was the dominant ping pong player. Everything he does is natural, and he's the consummate overachiever worker in terms of keeping himself in top flight condition. About the only thing thing I think he didn't like to do, if we qualify this as athletics, his fiancée, as a gift, gave him a chance to jump out of an airplane parachute experience. Said he hated it completely. So that's about the only thing that a physical activity that I've seen him not like, but he can do pretty much everything else. He's thrown a pass and thrown successfully. The guy also, and Bill Belichick, I know, studied this about him. The guy also is a tremendous punter, and I've watched him in practice have punting competitions against the Bills punter, Colton Schmidt, coffin corner challenge, they call it, and he's won that. He's against the regular punter. So your Bill Belichick, you know that when years ago on the Jets, they had a guy named Tom Tupa as a punter and also a quarterback. You know, if you can have that value of a player who can do more than one thing.
Absolutely. Bill Belichick so highly values versatility.
Right. So he knows that about Hogan, and I think that's yet another box that's checked off for him for the Patriots.
Well, I don't think disliking jumping out of airplanes and parachuting is going to be a knock against him, but I certainly think that Bill Belichick would prefer to see Hogan's feet on the ground, but he definitely sounds like he'll become a quick Belichick favorite for all the reasons you've said.
Yeah, I really think that would be the case, and I think in his heart of hearts, even though he's been a really good, true sort of Buffalo guy that fans have liked having, I just think for the sake of his career progression and a chance to play, with Tom Brady, I think is going to appeal to him very much. But obviously, it's not in his hands. It is up to once this offer sheet is in place, and then it's in front of the Bills. They get to decide his fate.
Vic, thank you so much for talking with us. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Michaela.